All right, there we go. Good morning. I apologize. That took longer than I expected. Had a coffee snafu. Or my beans fell, and I had to clean things, and it was a pain in the ass, and not something that I want to do at 7:30 in the morning. There's my favorite person. Morning, Vance. I was just on your account. I used the rest of your crystals. You had 119 crystals. I don't know where all your crystals go. Every time I go on there, there's crystals, and then every time I log on again, there's nothing. And I don't know what the fuck you're buying, and I hope it's just the first level of refreshes. Because if it's anything else, I will cry. Let's see what we got going on today. I know we got a cupcake war in TW. Don't know how much. Oh, we didn't finish up yet. Look at that. Against GLs. I don't like fighting GLs. I was on it about 10 minutes ago, and I was only on it for about 10 minutes because, well, I don't need to be on it for any longer than that. Let's just TW hero the shit out of this wall. Where is Hurricane when we need him? That motherfucker loves... He loves the TW hero. Oof. You know what? Hot, I actually heard that joke maybe 3 days ago. Because there was a post on Reddit about a Honda that is like super thin and apparently street legal. And everybody in the comments was making that same joke. As long as it was just your first set of refreshes, all we need him at is 5 stars. That's it. Now you can go back to relic materials. Yeah, let's see. I need Scorch to get damage, so we might as well. Right? It's fucking gross. I love it. Beautiful. Hot's getting nasty today. Last week we beat our brunch record. I think our highest was 61 people here. Let's see how we do today, though. I am going to see Lilo and Stitch at 10. So that's why we started a little on the earlier side. We'll see if there's even time to do that. I don't think I need anything crazy here, right? Let's use Hoth, Rebel Soldier, and, I don't know, Scarif. I really like and I appreciate that everybody comes in here and it's just stupid jokes all the way down. So thank you guys. I love it. I'm a fan. It really screws with me when I'm doing roster reviews, though, because I'm not good at ignoring ignoring the chat to read a roster review. And then I start laughing, and then I forget what I was saying. Oh, man. Fucking TW Heroes coming out to play today. Ooh, boy. Let's do... Yeah, fine. Why not, right? We don't even need Datacrons. I'm gonna look like I was so fucking good at this game. Man, Moonborn sent me the first teaser trailer to the Gungies 2-3 days ago. It's not fully ready yet, but I am. Oh God, he outdid himself. Everything that he does, he just gets better and better every single time, and it is beautiful. It really is. You know, it's funny. The day that I give people randomly mod anytime I need to deal with Twitch bots, and that's really the only thing that needs to be modded is deleting Twit bot shit. I don't really care what's said other than that. People can shit on me. I'll shit right back on them. That's how it works. Look at this. I'm like the best TW player. I feel like Vance talking about myself here. A mod farming video. You know, when I do videos, I try to think of things that haven't been done before or that I think have been done incorrectly. I did a mod filtering video and I have very specific mod filters for myself, and I did a video on that. I don't really think that there is that much to mod farming. I will say that there's 2 layers to it depending on where you are. Well, on Discord we have like 8. So when it comes to mods, I do 2 things. I do three refreshes a day on whatever I need the most of. The rest of my bonus energy goes to mod battles for upgrade materials. And then right now I'm not doing it because I know you guys will joke and laugh, but my crystals are actually relatively low from where I normally like them. But I'll also refresh the mod shop a few times. It's super cheap. It stays at 15. So I usually refresh that like 4 or 5 times, and hope for like 1 or 2 mods that I can get. But if you're really looking for a great god, Captain Amazing, you know, he is the mod guy on our Discord. And he has some really, really solid mod advice. So I try not to step on his toes too much because he knows way more than I do. If I ever feel like I have something to add to the conversation, then yeah, I will end up doing something. I just don't feel like there's much that I have to add to the conversation. You go sign up new moderators. Yeah, hot. For me, it's all about just where is it? It's very much specifically about bots and getting rid of the bots so that I don't have to. I don't even remember how to give people mod. Oh. What is this? Auto mod queue. Oh, there is no auto mod queue. Activity feed. I don't even know how to do it. It is an earlier day today. I mean, it's one of those days where there's not that much going on in game. So I feel like even with it probably being a shorter brunch, I'll probably get to at least 4, maybe 5. It depends on how fast each one is. Sometimes, you know, a roster review is like a 5-minute, very super quick thing. Sometimes a roster review is a 15-minute involved thing. It depends on how quick each one goes. There you go, Hot. You're here enough. If you ever see any bots in here, you just delete them. That's all I give a shit about. That way I don't have to. Yes, Vance, I do all 100 refreshes on Cantina every single day. But I also have the crystal income to support that. I don't know if you have the crystal income to support that. Really love to see your P1 fleet push you to like 1 every day. Oh, what's the best role for a Kron? I mean, I feel like Trench is more TW, right? Poggle, who even has Poggle? Like, where are you using Poggle at a higher level? I personally got the GG one. I think that was worth it for me to get. I found it useful in TW and TB. The fuck do I know, though? I just get what I have in my roster. I didn't even know that there was a Watcron, to be completely honest. That's how little I pay attention to it. So wait, somebody dropped the battle there? Why? How? CLS. Let's do CLS here. I don't even think the order matters, to be completely honest. Ah, you see what you did there, Knight? You'll give it a roll. Hey, Allie. How was, I only got to stick into the Rabbit Beaver hot sauce stream for like 15 minutes to give you guys shit. How did you fare? I had to leave before I got drunk because I was very tempted to shoot $50 just to watch the two of you. Or watch him because he had to bomb. And I know that you aren't super hot sauce friendly, but just to see the worst of the worst happen. Can this do it? I don't know. And who else? Does it matter for this? I don't think it matters. Hondo. Let's do Hondo. Ooh, to bomb twice. Man, to bomb is like one of the worst hot sauces I've ever had. I think I said this to you. I said it to someone. I don't have it right now in my cabinet, but I keep the bomb around normally to just put a dash of in other hot sauces. I have my entire fridge is hot sauces. Like, I have a whole shelf of them. I gotta get more Last Dab, but it's expensive. It's like $20 fucking. What can do this? I don't know if Knight's it. Let's start Killer. Fuck it. Why not? Da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da. Hot sauces. Yes, you mix hot sauces to make better hot sauces. I don't know if you've ever had Da Bomb, but Da Bomb is like one of the worst travesties of a hot sauce ever. It has no redeeming value in terms of taste, but it is so fucking hot that, like, if you want that kick, it's there. So you take a little Da Bomb and you add it to like anything, just a tiny drop, and it'll make your better sauce so much hotter. I am like a hot sauce chemist. Yeah, I texted Rabid Beaver. I let him know. I was like, hey, I was only able to stay for a little while. Because I'd just gotten home. I was making dinner with my wife, so I kept it on while I was making dinner. But I let him know that I'm gonna have to carve out some time to be there for a whole one in the future. You're too white, dude. I'm like the whitest graphic. When I go to restaurants, there's this ramen place by me that has spicy ramen, and they go by levels 1 to 10. And I always order a 10, and I promise you, without fail, every time I order a 10, the waiter looks at me, and I have to say to them, yes, I know I'm white. Yes, I will finish it. If you want to make it an 11, go for it. Like, you cannot defeat me. Mita doesn't like talking about the game. I've tried. I try to get him to ask things about the game. I asked him about a bug last week, and he was like, thank you. What did he say? He said, I'm going to go look at. He said, let's see. Question of the month. What makes a teacher? Provided you a trigger word. Highlight of my day. I appreciate your feedback and will pass it along to the team. I have no further information to provide you at the time. Like, that is that was the whole extent of him responding to me. And you go, oh. All right, I want to try this because we're TB heroing it. It doesn't matter, right? So where is my old republic? Do they all have to be light side? I think they all have to be light side, right? Old Republic. So let's take out Canderous. Let's throw in you. Let's take out Juhani. Let's throw in Jolie. And let's just see what happens. I get the reference. It's a great movie. This is one that I have no idea if this is going to work, and it just doesn't matter. Right now, it looks like my mods are not going to make this work. Oh, man. Jolie. Does that work in TW, or is that just a GAC thing? I honestly, again, I don't know. But if I get through Bosk, like, oh, god damn it. Why you gotta do that to me? You can see how terribly my old Republic is modded right now. Wish I had a Zalbar. Yeah, they're not getting past Bosk. Okay. Oh, well. Where is that team that I just lost on? Let's do Bo-Katan. At least I can say I did something this TW. Hey, look, guys. Look at how good I am. Jolie. I have Zalbar. I have an R8 Zalbar. I just haven't put any effort into modding them, and I don't have the mods right now to be able to mod them. With all of the clones and everything, I am so behind on mods right now. It really has hurt quite a bit. Let's see. Will UFU work? No, it's not GAC, but... And I have all these datacrons that I probably could have used. Right? And I just kind of chose not to. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like no holds, like so few holds happen in RTWs. It's either a super easy win or a super disappointing loss. There's no in between, so I can't take the entire game mode seriously. Get some Night Sister action in here. Who's not? Oh, because Talia's just Relic. Talia's not R1. My bad. Yeah, we try with TW to be smart about it, right? Like, if it's a super close TW, then we'll do a lot of tags. If it's one where we've clearly lost, then there's not going to be a lot of tags. Oh, God. Guess because I didn't have Marin. Probably should have known that I need Marin for this. Okay. Marin is in my other team right now. What do I have left? I think Sidious can do it. Let's fucking try. Oh, fuck you. Yo, if you're gonna get rid of all of my debuffs, that's just not fair. Okay, well. Alright. Let's see if I have anything else. Wombat can go fuck himself, because Wombat likes to get into conversations where he tries to act smart. But where there was no problem in the first place. Hey CMD, I don't think I have anybody that I've seen in here from India yet, or at least that has told me. Got a lot of Germans. Tons of Germans always in the chat. I somehow they always find me. Let's see. Sure. And then we'll get into Conquest. And then we'll do roster reviews. Honestly, this part of TW doesn't bother me. Where it's just like, oh, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what happens. Like, that to me is kind of fun. My man, you gotta buy me a drink first. I'm a drink slut. It's the moon board. I don't think you understand how serious that is. Like, Moonborn joined my guild, and then I had like 4 other German guys join our guild, and it just became like a thing. Oh, I was really hoping for at least 1 kill. Yes, Moonborn lives in Germany. What are we? All right, so we're top 3, right? Successful attacks, 358. What's going on here? Do I want to oh no, I don't want to bother with this. An executor wall? Absolutely not. I'm not dealing with that shit. Gotta take me to dinner. Anytime I go out with somebody from the game, I always end up buying them dinner. That's the vibe. All right. Let's get into my favorite relaxing part of the day, which is Conquest, and then we'll get into reviews. What are we at? 34 minutes. Conquest, easy. We've done it. Some things I learned from this Conquest, first of all. Number 1, I'm probably not going to do this Spectre feat next time around. It's not hard. It's super easy to do, but it's just not fun. 20 battles in 1 sector for 5 bones, like, it's not worth it. This, not so bad. This, I don't think we're going to have a problem with next time. Sector 2. Sector 3, I didn't do Lord Vader surviving, right? Again, it's not a hard feat. This is the kind of thing where Wombat would come in and say, it's not hard. Why are you ignoring an easy feat? Because it's boring. It sucks. I hate survive feats, especially when everything else can be done super, super, super easy, right? It just stresses me out. I'd rather be able to sim things. Sector 4, again, not super hard. We kind of have to go with the Batcher ones. And the reason that I do the Batcher survive feat is that all 3 of these feats can be done with Gungans. So you can finish all 3 of these feats in like 2 to 3 battles. Tenacity down, you don't get a lot with Phalanx, but you throw in like a JML battle or 2 with a tenacity down basic guy and you get the rest of them, which does leave you the opportunity with the Batcher surviving to be able to do that. GLS, yes, so I have to Datacron farm, but I want to sim my Datacron farms. I don't want to put them on manual and remember to do that. It's just extra effort that I don't want to put into it. And you guys know me enough to know that, like, I'm all about as little effort as possible. So for me, I'm like, it's not worth it. Especially, I don't know how many, doesn't tell you how many things you have, but I did leave some on the table where I'm not going to have to worry too much. Sector 5, not hard. Win with Crosshair surviving is probably on the harder side just because, like, mine's not relicked yet, and it really is dependent on your Datacrons. No tanks in your squad. I could have probably done that one easily, you know, but I have enough left on the table where I can get rid of that other Spectre feat and not have to worry about it. The battle expectation in this Conquest has been higher than the last like 4 to 5 Conquests. So not super happy about that, but it's still much better than some of the much older Conquests that we've had. So, you know, it's fine. Vash, I'm not giving POW his Omicron. I actually considered it just as an ease of life kind of thing. But at the same time, it also ruins my ability to try and find these little things for people to use because it makes things a little too easy. I did have about 100 Omicron material recently, and I actually burned almost all of it. I burned 2 on Luthen, which I'm a little bit pissed off about because I didn't even get to use it against Lord Vader. I obviously burned some on Scorch. I gave, what's her name? My Chemical Romance. I gave her 3rd Omicron after a huge snafu with her against SLKR. Yeah, it's annoying. But look, I get it. I do think the last 3 to 4 cycles have been too easy. From a battle standpoint, I understand them trying to push it up a little bit. But I don't want them to bring it back to the 200 plus battle ones. Because they're just not fun. Like, it's not interesting. It doesn't make it harder. See, Vash? That's what I'm talking about. One of the reasons I don't do it. CMD, you're asking where I'm from? I'm in New Jersey. I don't hide that from people. I've met up for beers with people in this area. I will. Every time I say that, though, I also have to stipulate that one of Scribe's right-hand guys, Wolf, literally lives 15 minutes from me. Still won't come get a beer with me. Stupid asshole. Yeah, they've brought it down. I'm so glad it's not 40s anymore. I'm so glad it's 20s. If they bring it back to 40s, it'll be terrible. And it used to be always 40 with something that sucked, right? Like, there was a time where it was win 40 with Old Republic, but that was, like, even before Sortie was out. So you're doing 4 battles every day, like, every 4 to 5 hours just to get it for 10 days. There was one with, like, Ewoks, like, and that sucked. It wasn't fun. It wasn't hard. Once you've proven that you can do the battle, it's not hard anymore. It's just about wasting your time. I think there is a fine line where they artificially inflate it because they want you, refreshing in order to get to Red Crate, and I do understand that. But I do think there's a fine line in understanding what level to do that at and what level to kind of hold back. And I think maybe recently they've been seeing too many completions too early. All right, I think I have enough of that now. So let's go back to Datacrons. I did not see Fortified, though on Discord, we have been keeping a list of everyone that somebody has seen. Let's see. In this new section, by the way, I changed around how we did this on Discord because I noticed it wasn't working for people. But now there's a Conquest infographics section, which keeps track of the current feats, current Conquest resources, our past Conquest resources, and then the discs that we've confirmed that we've seen, with any notes that we need on them. So that's something to kind of look out for on Discord. We tried that new this time. Hopefully it helped more people. Allie, if you drove 5 hours here, I would buy you dinner. I would. I wouldn't even buy you just a beer. I would buy you dinner. If someone drove 5 hours just to hang out for a few hours, I would feel so wrong not buying them dinner. But that's just how I grew up. My friends and I, when we used to, before Venmo, before like it was super easy to split checks, my friends and I, we would have this system of just one person covers the bill, somebody else covers it next time. and maybe I paid $5 more. Doesn't matter, because it'll even out eventually. There was never any money between friends and I, ever. It was always just, hey, we're here to hang out. You get around, I get around. You buy dinner, I buy dinner. I had friends come up to me when we were younger and say, hey, man, I can't make rent. And, you'd pull out your checkbook and be like, what do you need? And not that I was rich. I didn't have a lot of money, but it's just, that's just the way that I grew up. Oh, the Scorch, because it's like his unique or something, right? Yeah, I hate how the things are coded for like uniques and shit, where it's technically the enemy doing it to themselves. And I think I think that it just goes back to old coding from before it mattered, and they just don't know how to change it now, because it does suck. It really blows. Yeah, back in the not pre-Venmo days, man. I'm an aging millennial. I remember one night, man, and I was always somebody that, like, I just didn't care. I remember one night going out with a friend and his other friend group, and there was like 8 of us at this beer bar. And I remember getting really, really drunk, and I literally ordered one of every beer on the menu in flights because I wanted to try them all. And there was like 8 people all arguing over the check. And like, who pays what and who pays this? And I got a $5 this, but you got a $7 that. And I remember that night, like, just turning to my friend, handing him like $60 and saying, I'll be outside. Like, you guys figure this out. I can't deal with this vibe right now. Here's like way more money than I owe. I just don't care. Yeah, I don't vibe with people that are the opposite. Like my ex-girlfriend, and this is a decade ago because I met my wife in 2016. We've been married almost 6 years. She had a friend stay with us once for like 5 days, and I remember that, like, we'd go out grocery shopping, and she would make him like buy his own food and cook his own meals, and like even like not even just contribute to what we were making. It was just, nope, you're on your own, deal with it. Meanwhile, like, if my wife has someone stay with us, or like if my brother stays with us, I don't care. Like, you're here, you're my guest. I'm gonna treat you to whatever I can treat you to. Yeah, hot. What sucks is when I click out of the game screen to look at a different screen, it deprioritizes that, so the sound stops coming out of that. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. I don't think there is. But it is very annoying because I am very ADD, and I like have to be looking at different things on the screen at all times. That's how I feel, man. And like, if my brother stays with me, he usually stays for like 2 weeks because he lives in Korea. So if he buys me a meal, like, it's cool, it's all good. But I'm going to get most of it. You came all of this way. The math guy certified way to get impulse detectors. I think it depends on where you are in the game. So where I'm in the game, I get enough impulse detectors, not passively, but in the time that I use impulse detectors. I kind of have a system with MK3. Remind me right after we're going to talk about it right after Conquest, because we're going to talk about my system of how I do things. But I want to show it to you in the stores. So we'll talk about that once this is done, and I'll show you what I do. What'll do fast? This Jedi will go fast, right? Jedi. Sure. I very rarely have to crunch Gear 12 pieces for impulses. But I think the shock prod node has it gives bronzium stuff and impulse detector stuff, if I remember correctly. Might not be remembering correctly, but I think it does. And since you're like, most people are farming that node pretty much passively with any extra energy that they have. Hey, Asher. Good morning. I always want to sing the good morning song. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Hey, Womprat. I don't really feel a crunch right now on R9 or R8 material. It's really like R6 material. It's the electrum conductors that I always feel like I'm out of. Oof. Our day is beginning. There's so much to do. Oh, the nations of the world. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and from French Barbados, something in Guam, Norway and Sweden, and Iceland and Finland, and Germany now in one place, Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece. About as far as I can go. Lemon cookies. Lemon cookies are the electrum conductors. That's the one that hits me the hardest. Ireland, Russia, Oman, Cambodia, Malaysia, and Bangladesh, Asia. Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran. Hey, BZ. I haven't seen you in a bit. Oh, man. So in schools, it's just easier for me to say that I'm a teacher. In schools, I'm a one-to-one. So I work in general ed classrooms as academic support for students with disabilities. Generally, I work with kids with ADD or autism. I am typically put with students who have behavioral problems because I am the CPI certified instructor for my district. So often I am somebody dealing with like kids who bite or throw things. And I'm also on like crisis teams for students who do that I don't work with, and I'm constantly like on my phone and get text message from other teachers that are like, hey, I need you in this room, like literally right now. All right, I think this is our last Conquest battle. And then we're going to talk about what I do. I've actually never been bitten. I've worked with biters for many, many years. I believe it or not, I'm very fast. But I've never been bitten in school. You got one of me. Well, if you just had a speech impediment, you probably weren't working with me or one of me. I'm typically working with students who are oppositionally defiant and who refuse to do their work. Not just students that just need like a support and some help. All right, let's see. What do I have? I have this stuff I'm pretty good on right now. I have 136 right now, 132 right now, and that's not too bad. What I generally do is anything that is G12, I try to keep it at 500 plus. So if I have more than 500, I will reduce them down, right? So this is kind of hitting there. My impulse detectors are lower than usual because I have just brought a bunch of clones up. My keypads don't look too bad right now. But when we look at the store, weekly shipments, anything worth it in here? Oh, I'll take that. Cantina battles. Okay, so when we look at the store, I have kind of... Daniel... It's not untrue. The first job I was hired for in a school was actually because of my martial arts background. And that sounds really bad because it sounds like I'm beating up kids, but it's not. It's more that I have a very calm head. And when those situations arise and other teachers will go right to like a hold or flipping out, I am able to keep like a level head and kind of relax and de-escalate a system a little bit easier. But let's see. So this is what I do. I try to keep my gear to keypads. I buy these first. I always buy these first until I have enough to R9 2 characters. So you can see I have 90 right now, which is way more than I need. And if I have more than 40, I don't buy them anymore. I just build them up passively from TB, because I get 2 per TB, and from the scavenger if I have more than 500 of something. The next thing I buy is impulse detectors, and that also includes, by the way, the guild event tokens here, right? Buying whatever's here for those things. But I then buy impulse detectors until I have 80. So right now I am buying impulse detectors quite a bit because I want to get them back to the point where I have enough to do, again, 2 characters to R9 or 4 characters to R8. Once I have this at 40 and this at 80, I typically am buying arrow magnifiers and whatever I have the least of from Zimbittles or Electrum conductors. I never buy heat sinks. I never buy chromium transistors, right? I never buy Bonsium wiring. I never buy carbonate circuit boards. So it's keypads to 40, impulse detectors to 80, and then it's all arrow magnifiers and all of whatever I have less of, Zimbittles or Electrum conductors. I know some people buy MK3 with, buy Kyrotech with their MK3. I think it is a huge mistake to do that. The reason being that MK3 is a super valuable resource. And even though Kyrotech is a big crunch for people that don't have Mandalore and Zepho unlocked, you get it from a lot of sources. You get it from TB. You get it from farming your light side battles, right? And this node, light side 7B, is super great because it has bronzium wiring things, it has shock prod things. You get it from your assault battles, from your CT1 assault battles. You get it from your dailies. You can get it from your GAC stuff. You can get it from Get 2. there's just so many other sources that I don't think you're significantly speeding anything up by buying it with MK3. Whereas it's so much better to build up your passive hoard here of building up your passive hoard of relic resources. Even if you feel like you have a lot of them, what ends up happening with relic materials is you go, man, I have a lot, right? Like, I have all this signal data right now. I've got like 700 of these. I've got 300 of these, right? Another 350 of these. Those are going to be gone in days. Those go so quickly. I really, really, really think that MK3 for Kyrotech is just, it's too overpriced, and it's not enough of what would be useful for you as a player, and you're not significantly speeding anything up. So I would never, ever, ever buy those things. But that's my system. You know, different systems work differently for different people. That's how I do it. That's what works for me. One thing that I think a lot of people don't think about is when you're talking about the overall farm, we think about speeding up one thing, and we don't really ask ourselves if it's speeding up the overall farm. And a lot of the times the answer is no, it's not speeding up the overall farm, because there's something that's more limiting to you that you don't recognize or realize is more limiting to you. Right? And that's the big thing, is understanding that. Yeah, so I buy high-level relic materials with my MK3. You know, right now, because I need impulse detectors, I'm buying impulse detectors and below. I don't really need to buy keypads, because you can see I have quite a few keypads, and by the time I need more, I will have done multiple more TBs in that time and won't have to worry about it. So it comes down to being disciplined about what you're buying and why you're buying it. And I'm not infallible. I sometimes get caught and go, oh, I really want to speed this up, and I do, and it probably wasn't the smartest thing in the world. We all do it. But that's how I do things, and that's what works for me. Okay, so we are done with in-game stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to take a very short break to fill up my coffee cup, and then we will try to knock out as many reviews as we can with the time we have before I go to see Lilo and Stitch. So we will be right back. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm excited. My wife loves Lilo and Stitch. It looks cute. I was actually just telling Aussie Mike this morning, because he was asking me about it, and I had been reading some reviews of the movie, And so far, my favorite review of Lilo and Stitch is when you take something that works really well and it doesn't work as well this time, I guess it still sort of really works well. And that is just like the funniest review that I can possibly think of having happened. We're going to see what we get through today. Now, good news, by the way, about these roster reviews for today. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. And I'm planning on probably doing my GAC tomorrow morning, early in the morning. So I will most likely end up doing more reviews tomorrow if I don't get through enough of the ones to do here. Because there's no way that my wife is waking up before like 10 a.m. So you're going to most likely get 2 brunches in a row this week, which is kind of cool. And makes up for that one brunch that I did not get to do a few weeks ago. Ooh. Call with Wombat. Fun stuff, Allie. Take it easy. If you're going to be on stream with Womprat later. Oh, with Womprat. I almost read Wombat. Because Wombat is a whole different story. But if you'll be on stream with him later, we're almost definitely going to be raiding into you guys. All right, let's see. What do we got for today? We got Fleonardo. Name sounds familiar. I think I've definitely done a review for this guy before. Gotta check it out. Have we? Maybe not. I don't know. The name is super familiar. I know you're not Wombat, but I thought she said Wombat because I am dyslexic, I think. I don't know. But we're going to stall until 1:05. Just so that I don't have to write more numbers that are harder to write. Yeah, I was up at 5 this morning, Lady Geek. I wake up, I'm ready to go for the day. I really should start taking midday naps, though. All right, we're here. We're at 1:05. Let's see. Oh, yeah, see, had a review in January, so they must have left the Discord and then rejoined. Or I didn't give them the tag, which is dumb of me. Had a review in January and thought it'd be nice to see the progress. Regular review, Type 20 Refrina, Leviathans, and a few Executors. I still haven't made contact with my Shard, but I am able to climb to number 1 every day in 3 to 4 battles. This has skyrocketed my crystal income. See, that's what I'm talking about. Started about 2 months ago with Executor. Got Leviathan from 5 to 7 to reduce the time needed in battles. That's the quality of life, man. Assault battles, all CT3. Secrets and Shadows just got done after DACA, R3 to R5, and a second Zeta on Marin. And they're a useful team, too. It's one of my favorite teams. We were doing the Huts Hangout yesterday, and we were talking about favorite mechanics and favorite teams. And this is like one of my top tier, is the old Night Sister team. It's just so much fun. Duel of the Fates, Lover Boys R9, and refreshing. I always refresh it once. Pretty Patrol R7. We'll see where you're at and how angry I get with you about that. Just got Leia unlocked and finished the ultimate. Just got the PP Boys to R7 during May the 4th. Hoarding some gear to maybe R9 next one. Need a few signal data. Okay, if it's something that you're thinking about, definitely do it. I promise you, like, anytime. I had a great conversation with Pico Burrito about this recently. And I think we both kind of came to the consensus that anytime there is a permanent resource acquisition thing in the game, it should be prioritized. You should always be building your downline of passive income. Always, 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 always. Starting raid prep. Guild gets the 100 million box. Okay, so you're looking at needing about 2 million. Slow farming new Bad Batch, hoping to get charged for Oppo in the next Nightfall to maybe get to tier 2 with Oppo and CX, hoarding gear and trying to hoard a few Zetas that I might need for the new raid and the Nightfall event. Have been rounding up some loose ends and relicking a few characters, got Bane and Malicos to R5. I personally think that Bane is an easy R8, but again, depends on where you are in the game. The guild has been great, 28, 29 stars. We got Mandalore unlocked about 2 TBs ago. Zepho is not a priority right now. Been working on trying to auto more waves. Are you dead set? Not really. How highly do you value efficiency? 70-30. Any favorite characters? Thought about farming Glat, but still really far from her right now. All farmed, but haven't invested in my Conquest characters. Okay. My thing with Glat is, of course, it's nice to have Glat, right? I'm not saying that it's not. My problem with Glat is that she does not move the needle basically at all. There are some GACs where I don't even use her. She's a super boring character to watch play. And I think the other problem ends up being that because Hezra is so strong with Rey, when you use your Ahsoka without Rey, it's like watching like Ahsoka with a fucking spaghetti noodle, like a wet spaghetti noodle trying to hit things. It's just so boring. There are so many other things that I think, depending on where you are, that people should be going for. But let's take a look. And good morning, Trevor. Welcome to Brunch. Let's see, we've got our Leviathan, Kyber 4, nice. Collection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6. We're missing Lord Vader. We're missing Glat, and we are missing JMK. And we're missing JMK. I am curious about where your guild is with with Zepho. Let's see. You got 29. I mean, it's interesting that this is not a priority for you guys. It does suck because it's not something. It's not something that, like, having 30 people, you'll be able to do it. The battle does have some RNG that makes it a little bit tougher. But it is something that really helps to alleviate the Kyrotech crunch. But this is not an Anzac Vanguard review. This is a Fleonardo Isha review. So, you know, I can't really do too much about that. I will say, you know, I've probably said this to you before. You could almost certainly be in a guild in like the 550 range if you wanted to. I imagine that you don't want to. And if that's the case, then that's completely fine. You know? Let's check this out. Is there anything glaring that we're just so close to that we're like, why don't we have it? We have Bo, we don't have Jar Jar, Ahsoka, Balin, Master Windu, Lord Vader. I mean, you're burying the lead here. I'm assuming, well, you actually probably posted this 511, so before the Lord Vader bundle was in the game. That's what I'm thinking. Obviously, you should be finishing Lord Vader at this point with where you are. Okay, collection. Let's see where our new Bad Batch is. New Bad Batch. Not too terrible. Let's check out those new clones. So you've got Apo at 5 stars, but here, well, okay, again, you wrote this a few weeks ago. So you were able to get Oppo to 5 stars, which is really good. You're going to be ahead of the curve in terms of like the free-to-play, not so heavy-handed portion. One thing I do take exception with here is you say you're trying to hoard a few Zetas that I might need both for the new raid and for the new Nightfall event. One thing that I want you to keep in mind... Oh, there you are. Hey. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that because of your guild and because of where you're at and because of the fact that you're only going to need like a roughly 2 million score, Maybe slightly more if your guild moves into whatever the next box is. You don't want to over invest in the raid unless you are also thinking about moving into a new guild afterwards, right? New Bad Batch is really nice because it's an already farmable team, and it's something you can kind of get on top of right now before we have the raid out. Clones, I would say bring your New Bad Batch as like an R5 team. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what like the raid mechanics are, so we don't know. You know how like the Luminara team works really great at R5. The Quadmate team worked really well at R7 and R9, but up until recently, not at R8. The B2 team works really well at R8 because of the modifiers. So we don't really know what those modifiers look like yet. But I would say for right now, your Bad Batch team is an R5 team. And because that's going to give you 1.2 million of whatever score you need right there. And even like a G12 whatever team of clones will bring you the rest. I would say that your clones are probably going to be like an R5 to R7 team, especially with you having Lord Vader now, or going to be having Lord Vader very soon. That's going to allow them to be a little bit better for you in TB. It's going to give you a nice score in the raid. And Lord Vader just functions really well with higher relic characters because of the way that he ramps. So that's just something that you really want to keep in mind. As of right now, I wouldn't focus too heavily or even at all on pirates. I imagine you're not getting Jedi Mace Windu anytime soon. I wouldn't put too much priority even towards that, even a little bit. It won't be necessary for you. Let's take a look at the back end of your roster, though, and let's just see what's kind of missing here. Armorer, Zori Bliss. I would take Zori Bliss at least to G12. She is a beast in GAC. Throw an Omicron on her. She puts in a lot of work for me, even in K2, to be completely honest. Morgan's R3. Han, Nihilus. Favorite characters. We're liking a few characters. I definitely would take Bane to like R7 as a bare minimum. And then where did you take, let's see, what does your Ufu team look like? So you have Seer as a R8. Malicos 2, I would take, especially with your Seer so high, I would take Malicos at least to R7. I took him to R8 personally. But I do think that your R9 bros are your first priority right now. I would even put them before Lord Vader, personally. I don't know if you did it already. Let's just check, because I know I keep remembering that this is 2 weeks ago. We're 2 weeks behind on what you wrote. Yeah, I would do this as your first priority. Trying to get it in before the next event. You will thank me, especially if you refresh that top tier. Do that, then do your Lord Vader. I would really strongly say Darth Bane at least R7, but I say R8. Same thing with Malicos, at least R7, but I would say R8 is really the kind of natural stopping point that you want. You have Treya. Treya's working for you at R3, then great. I like mine at R5. I didn't find that she worked as reliably as I wanted at R3. I would strongly consider taking Zori at least to G12, but honestly, I took mine to Relics just so that I can use Datacrons with her. You can do it once, I believe, Hot, if I remember fully correctly. And I honestly would not do it more than once, even if you could do it more than once. When it comes to after that, where's our cat? When it comes to after that, and after your raid prep, so again, your raid prep, your slow farming Bad Batch, I'd make them your R3 to R5 team. You're going to eventually be slow farming clones, which will be much faster because of era battles. That's going to be an R5 to R7 team, most likely. I would start working towards JMK personally. I know he's fallen out of favor on defense because of Balin's. He's still a very strong team on offense, especially with Cat. He works against quite a few things. I think you'll be better served with JMK than you will be with Balin or Ahsoka right now. You also happen to be, like, not close, but, like, not in the worst position for getting him. I tend to think that he is a lower priority GL, but you've already gotten all of the high priority GLs. And once again, you know, Ahsoka is not moving the needle. You're much further away. I just think you'll get a lot more out of JMK at this point. Oof. Something about autoing TB somewhere in here, but let's see. I mean, you're on our Discord. You've seen, you know, what I have listed for my autos. I have TB playlists also built out that talk about the teams that I use. Just as an aside, not so much from a review perspective of, hey, do this, but just from some of my favorite teams for TB. Night Sisters are one of my favorite, most reliable teams. Old Night Sisters with old DACA. At every level, I found them to be able to auto the things that need to be done. Inquisitors, I found these to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful team. They do really well at every phase. I haven't brought them to R8 yet to know how well they do in Haven. But eventually, once you have Marok, I don't know how to say his name, his Omicron does make them just this silly, explosive team that blows shit up. So, you know, that's another team to consider just for TB. Jabba the Hutt's team, I don't think your guild is probably doing R8 things yet, but Jabba the Hutt's team works really, really, really well in TB as well in every one of his free nodes. Imperial Remnant. Captain Enoch works really well. I do it with the Omicron. I know Fat Phil has been telling me he does it without the Omicron, and he still uses the team very successfully. You pretty much have 4 out of the 5 at R7. And you have a couple options based on where you're at. I would maybe consider Stormtrooper as a little bit of a quasi-tank to R7 to be able to make it useful. You have probably been around my streams enough to know that, like, I value TB Omicrons because TB Omicrons save me time. You know, not everybody values TB Omicrons the same way that I value them. But anything that saves me time is a positive in my book. But I hopefully that stuff helps you out. The TB stuff, once again, is not so much review, just more, hey, this is what I use. Everything else is, this is the order that I would do things in. Really heavily pushing towards the dead boys first. Any questions? Oh man, time is a valuable thing. Watch it tick by as the pendulum swings. Watch, I don't remember how the words, but Linkin Park. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Did you just bring them to R9 right now? Then I love it. Awesome. Then work on your Lord Vader next. I love when people listen to me. You are goated right there for that, because most people get these fucking reviews and they don't listen to me at all, ever. And then they mock me on Discord. But that's what I would do with your account. If I try to look at it from a perspective of what would I do? What would Egnards do? We need a what would Egnards do graphic or t-shirt. Moonborn, are you there? I don't know. Probably not. Moonborn and I are hanging out later, so he's probably like, fuck that. I'm telling you right now, if Peridia Patrol goes away, there will be a riot. I promise you. They already tried cycling out, assault battles, and people flipped out. It's not happening. You did listen to me, Lady Geek. It only took a year, though. And if you need me to help you with Duel of the Fates on Wednesday, I have to do it in the morning, because Wednesdays are a work day for me. So let me know, and I'll try to get on early in the morning and do it. But I don't think it's really that hard, personally. First time for, look, they tried already, and it was scary to them, and they recanted. And that's why we have era battles. So I don't think it's happening. That was a very strong signal. My PP boys. All right, Crimreaper 1. We're going to say 125. And once again, in true Egnards fashion, we're going to stall for 20 seconds. Right, that's what Egnards does. You're probably going to have to move mods, but it's worth it to get that 3-star. Okay, we're at 125. I think Crimreaper I've done a review for too in the past. Yep, I have. Weighed, measured, reviewed. And nobody's ever pointed out that they understand that reference, and that makes me sad. Top 20, all executors in Leviathan. I get first as long as I don't have scheduling conflicts with my fleet arena time. Worst case scenario is usually top 5. I do the same thing. If I am crunched for time, I just try to get top 5. Are we coordinating? Yes, we're coordinating. Assault battles. Looks like all of them are at CT3, except Fanatical Devotion, so probably don't have Third Sister yet. And Peridia Patrol, because you hate me. What are you currently working on? Yep, see, look at that. 200 Reva shards. It's my priority at the moment. Also doing Vader's new clones team and new Bad Batch. Just unlocked Kenobi yesterday. Need a few more Zetas for that team to be done. You did set on continuing? Nope. How highly do you value efficiency? Very highly. Have all the proving grounds done. I know I have all the character shards for Glat, but it seems like Ezra is better with Rey, and she's pretty mid without Ezra, so I was thinking of putting her off for other farms. I'm sure I'm missing some good non-GL teams that I could put together. So, I don't know if you're here right now. I don't know, I'm sure you've heard me say this before. I do agree with you. The thing with Ezra is his most valuable use in TB, personally, I throw him with Jedi, and he makes those Jedi so much easier to auto with. Yes, Ani, it is a Knight's Tale. That's exactly where it's from. In terms of GAC, you throw her with Rey, because even like the Seer Malicos team that people use in order to avoid using a GL, it's not that it's unreliable, but it is that Hezra can smack it down sometimes and make it a little bit harder. I think that for GAC, it's the smarter move to do it that way. And anytime I see somebody put a Rey team without Hezra, and then I know, oh, I have to fight an Ahsoka, I just go, oh, I have to save my SLKR, right? Or like it's not that hard to take down. It doesn't bother me. Whereas when I see Rey with Hezra, I go, oh shit, this is gonna make or break my GAC right here. Glat without Hezra is like a fucking wet noodle fight, and it sucks, and it's kind of like the problem when we bring up developing a team to be at its full power with a lifter, as opposed to developing a great team and then giving it a lifter later. I sometimes don't even use my Ahsoka when I have to like do a mirror match just to kill the ads, because that's just what works out. It's 5 minutes of just watching them slap each other. It's like a bitch slapping contest. It's just so boring. And then anytime Ahsoka is in a battle without Hezra, it's boring. I haven't looked at your account yet, so I don't know. But I generally tell people that she is relatively low priority. Outside of obviously Peridia Patrol is a pretty high priority. If you're going R9 Peridia Patrol, would you also prioritize DTMG? I don't think you necessarily have to, Asher, but I did bring R8. I did bring DTMG to R8 for Mandalore. I hate to give Fat Phil credit, but I do agree with him saying that, you know, when you bring a character to R9, it should be a character outside of requirements, obviously. Or when you put an Omicron on a character, it should be a character that you're willing to R9. And that kind of goes back to TB and being usable in TB. I brought my DTMG to R8 specifically because now I can use Enoch and them on Mandalore. Will they be a priority eventually when I need another R9 team? Sure. But I don't need an R9 team just yet. I do think that you don't need to have an Imperial Remnants team to do the Peridia Boys, because the resource acquisition part is a little stronger than anything else. So with that said, we have an 11 million account. Fortuna, oh, Fortuna favors the Bold, my favorite guild. I love these motherfuckers. These silly little goofy pieces of shit, and C Squared with his little autistic love of whatever. Right now it's X-Men, and every one of these goofy little shits has some sort of X-Men name on their Discord. I love it. They make me so happy. I know C Squared's not here right now because he is probably in church. What are you guys doing in the raid? 95 million. So you're gonna need about 2 million in the raid. All right, so let's see what we're looking at here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have all the GL except for Rey. Bad Batch. You've brought your Bad Batch. You're already bringing them to about like that R5 level. Perfect. Clone Troopers. Okay. So again, this comes down to what we talk about, like the over prioritizing of your raid. I know C Squared, you know, Fortuna Favors the Bold started as more of a casualish guild, and he's kind of building it out to be less casual now. So I know you're probably going to be going for the next raid box, and your 2 million that you need now is going to end up being something around, like, probably, if he's smart, around trying to get to that 5 million mark. I think that you can most likely do that with your Bad Batch and your clones, and hoping that there's an old team available. I do think my strongest opinion on this raid right now is that Inquisitors will be usable. It'll be announced that they're usable. I don't know. I just have a very strong feeling. So I see your Bad Batch as being like an R5 team. You know, I don't know what you want to do with the Clone Troopers. You probably don't need to bring them to R9 right now, but definitely you're Tarkin and them as an R7 team. That's another 1.8 right there. I don't know what your plan is with badass motherfucker Mace Windu. I have no idea. I don't want to tell people to spend money. So, you know, if that is what you're doing, then great, you have all of your teams that are needed. If that is not what you're doing, then I think any raid prep out of Bad Batch R5, clones R7 should be, let's wait till you have more information. Fanatical Devotion, you can do it with Grand Inquisitor, it just sucks. I do very strongly believe, I said this in my last, I feel like I say this every day at this point. It's almost as bad as when I used to talk about Jabba the Hutt. I think that these dead boys just are such a priority to R7, and anyone not bringing, or to R9 rather, and not bringing them to R9 is basically a mistake. But let's check out the bottom end of your roster and see what we have if we want to like shore up teams, right? So if your goal right now is, hey, maybe we go for something else, let's actually just see what some of these are first. Got Bo, got Balin. So you seem... Okay, so you seem like you got everything else. Looking at the bottom end of our roster, I would definitely bring Zori up. She makes a nice B+ team in GAC. It's okay without the Omicron. I do think that the Omicron makes it so much better. I think that the gas team, I see one of your clones down there is not in the best shape. The gas team is a really, really nice team. It is like an A- squad right now, but I still use it pretty much every single GAC. So there's one right there that you can work on. Sisters, Chopper, Super Commando, Karth, Rennick, Kyle. Fives I would bring higher for that team. You want him soaking damage. People kind of misunderstand him. They're like, man, I don't want him to take damage because then he does this. No, you want him to be so hard to take down and so infuriating because people are going to prioritize him no matter what. Vaj, okay. I'd really bring this Quercetan up, man. Same thing. I feel like Star Killer is an easy R7 as a bare minimum. You have Malicos? Yeah, you do. How is Fortuna doing in TB? 28. Okay. I feel like you guys could be doing better. I gotta talk to your guild. I think you're at a point in the game. I kind of agree with you that go for her slowly in the background, but she doesn't move the needle on anything. You're at a point, I'm at a point in TB where I need to start moving teams to R8 and R9 for TB. You're at a point where you need to start moving teams to like R6 and R7 for TB to make sure that you're maximizing what you can do for your guild. You have a lot of things already available to you, you know, so I can definitely see like for First Order, a full team to R7, Rey makes Dathomir autoable and easy. You know, so bringing Rey to R7 will help you out significantly in TB. Hot Cartel, you probably don't need Quercetan really at anything more than R5 because his nodes are so easy. But you want to make Quercetan tough for GAC anyway, so it's something that I would be bringing to R7 and even to R8 once you guys start doing Kessel. Let's see what our Jedis are looking like. Ew, R9. JML, gross. Okay, I mean, you've got the decent ones. Do I not even see gas? Did you not? Did I just gloss over the fact that you have everything but gas? See on this list? Why is gas not on this list? Or am I just stupid? General. How do you? My God. Oh, you do. I'm just stupid. Okay. I was like, what the? How am I missing that? Oh, he's right here. What a dumbass I am. You know, snips to R7 might be a good idea because eventually you're going to take her to R9 for Ahsoka. And it will help you with extra options for TB. So that's a nice option to kind of dual layer things. Otherwise, your Jedi look pretty fine. I happen to like Night Sisters as a TB team. I think they make a great R7 to R8 team for TB. The old Night Sisters, Daka, Marin. Fuck is Marin? There she is. Daka, Marin, Talzin, Zombie, and Asajj. It just works so nicely. You can even underman some of the things in the neutral territory. Basically, I'm kind of scatterbrained here because I agree with you that this is a great time to work on just some smaller projects. Weenie at R5 is a choice, definitely. The way that I see Queen Amidala is that R5, when I see that in GAC defense, I kind of go, oh great, this is going to be easy. Bane is going to scoop this up fat, like as a joke, and it'll die so fast. I wouldn't say bring it up specifically for the raid at this point. I do think if you're going to really invest in Hezra for the raid team, I would probably invest a little bit more in Ben Solo, bring him up to R7 for survivability. Because remember, those two kind of work hand in hand, Rey and Ben. Nihilus, nice. Niceless. Yeah, man, it's all little projects for you right now because your raid prep is actually better than my raid prep right now. You definitely spent towards it, and that's cool. That's your choice. I don't give a shit. But you don't want to over invest with what your guild is planning on doing. You're already at what your guild is already doing for the next raid, and it's really what C-Squared decides to do for the next raid going forward and what his targets are. This is the perfect time to work on a lot of those small things that I kind of pointed out to help you out. I see a lot of questions. What do you think about a BKM Lightspeed bundle? Do you think that's likely? Seems early. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't think you'll get a BKM Lightspeed bundle until the anniversary, though. I would say the anniversary, you're pretty likely to get that. New Bad Batch worth it. I'm going to take them to at least R7 and gave Wrecker's TB Omicron. From what I heard, his TB Omicron is awesome. I plan on taking them at least to R7 right now for that and for the raid. I probably will end up with them at R8 because I need R8 teams and R9 teams. So I might even take them to R9 to be completely honest. Just because my guild, I do want to push for max crate. And it will super help to have a team that can also work on like Ring of Kafrene. SK to R5 to R7, big difference in damage. Yes, 100%. I took mine to R8 specifically for the same reason, for platoons, and it's so much. It's super helpful. He was up top. I know, I can't read. Question, I'm basically taking up the raid marquees to R9 for the Era Battles raid, but can't afford to do more than that. Otherwise, I would do the Prettia boys. Or do you think I should not do that with, say, Jedi Temple and Depa and bring them up, or just keep going until after these marquees, then bring them up? I think, remember that Era Battles are temporary. That's the thing. I did a post on this with Reddit When it comes to era battles, we have to think of this as the era of rebates, not of ROI. So essentially that means you're getting a rebate of the materials on characters you were going to bring to R8 or R9 anyway. Don't do things specifically for the era battles. Now, with Nightfall, they were bugged for a while. That's now fixed. They no longer refresh. So people who invested early, did get a really nice return on their investment that they weren't supposed to be getting. So they kind of lucked out there. My goal going forward with era battles as someone who does not spend a lot of money is to bring the first character in an era battle sequence to 5 stars, so that I can get both tier 1 and tier 2 done without having, and just to be able to get as many shards as possible. My goal is not to get the tier 3 or the tier 4 or the tier 5, because I'm just chasing something that I'm not going to get back, and it's not going to significantly speed anything up. So that's kind of my stance on era battles going forward, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it does entice people to invest early, but only if they were going to invest anyway. Right? That's the thing to remember. Only if you were going to invest anyway. So for Depa and Temple Guard, I'm going to do the 1 pack, bring it to 5999, get to 5 stars by the end of not by the end of the event, 5 stars by the time you do T1 of the era battle. And that'll hopefully allow me to speed up those shards a lot easier and build up getting to Jedi Master Mace Windu 2nd run. So hopefully that answers that. Let's... I'm taking B2 to R1 and hoarding until we figure out which... So that's a fair point, is figuring out which raid teams are going to be the best investment. You know, for me, I need Darkside TB teams at R8 and R9. So clones to R9 was a no-brainer for me. I do think if you haven't already heavily invested in the era battles, then yes, you should not over-prioritize the team until you know where you'll get your best investment and where your guild is going with it. I think we're in a really interesting, unique position right now where, because we only know the new teams and there's a lot of new teams, that it is not just raid-centric, it is TB-centric. So I'm looking at this as, hey, I'm getting a raid ROI and I'm getting a TB ROI because I need these things right now for TB. All right, we're going to try to get, at a bare minimum, 1 more of these done today. And again, if we only get 1 more done today, it is all gravy. It's cool, because tomorrow morning I'm going to be doing my GAC on stream, and I will probably end up doing more reviews tomorrow. Because I have about 25 minutes. We are going to go We're going to say 147, and once again, we will stall for a couple seconds until we hit that 0-0 mark. Ah, God. How long would it take to get Mace with farming the characters on a node, but refreshing the node once or twice? It depends on how you invest in era battles, really. Even before era battles, I tended to get characters 2nd run. And that was with investing about 2 refreshes per character. And typically that gives you, it takes about 2 months to get the character at that point. With the era battles extra shards, it'll be a little bit less long. But let's see, 147, we're going to move on to PlotzkA. But I get them in PlotzkA. I get them in 2nd run. doing the 2 refreshes, and that has always worked with me for me, even pre-era battles. Let's see. 1 Leviathan, 20 Executors, able to finish first in fleets. Fleet Discord, half time slots figured out. Leviathan player was an early game whale that has since quit. Oof, that sucks for him, not for you. No one else is close to Leviathan. Assault battles, most of them are at CT2. I want to take a look at those. Fanatic Devotion, CT2, CT1, Duel of Fates, Tier 3. Prioritized PP over Ponchos because our event has a tier that provides Kairos. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Also don't have Quadme. Pretty Patrol R7. Finishing Farming Jabba. When did this post? The 12th. Oh my god, I'm so behind. But then we get here and it's the 18th, so it's legal son of Egnard. My legal son doesn't even know that it's not plural. It's just Egnards. Love it. Finishing Farming Jabba should be done within a week, so that's probably done now. Working on the Poncho Bros, then focusing on getting Badass Motherfucker and raid requirements. Will be unlocking Jocasta in the next Conquest, then looking to go for Leia next. Guild wants to go for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis soon, but there is no time frame. We'll also be unlocking Reva in 2 months. Not dead set, don't want to miss out on the second opportunity to unlock BAM for the raid, so I am prioritizing them. So you're not getting them right away, you're not wailing, you're working towards the second opportunity. Got it. Have been going for efficiency so far and would rather stick with efficiency. No favorite characters I want to go for. All parental guardian guidance shards other than the ones I have unlocked around 200. Trying hard in Conquest to get new Conquest units in 4 to 5 months. Big deal. I absolutely, hands down, 100% highly disagree with you on skipping Poncho Brothers. Absolutely not. Oh my god. The Poncho Bros and Duel of the Fates is one of the highest return on investment events in the game. Fuck Quadme. You don't have to get Quadme. You don't have to get raid shit. But you want Poncho Brothers. If somebody walked up to me in real life and said to me, skip Poncho Brothers, I would bitch slap them. And I would get arrested. And I would sit in jail overnight. Or over the weekend. Absolutely, you do Duel of the Fates. It is such a high return on investment team event. Also, I think you said you're a teacher. My wife teaches 6th grade special education, so I know how difficult it can be. Appreciate everything. Yeah, man, I'm in all the grades. 3rd grade. Actually, I've never worked 6th grade. But as an academic support and special ed, so your wife and I, we're in the same trenches. Let's see. Can we? Hold on. Let's go here. Let's do make a meme. Batman slapping Robin. Let's pop on .gg and it's there we go. Look at that. Let's add a fuck you for good measure. Edit. Boom. There's our meme right there. Like, no, you do Lover Boys. Oh, my goodness. Skip the Lover Boys. Holy shit. Okay. To Discord with that. I have to actually save it and send it to Discord. Ooh, you know, for how far you are, I really thought you'd be a lot higher GP, so I mean, with no Leviathans, I should have known better. So the first thing I want to just look at is you have Jabba, so now you have Jabba. So Rebel Roundup should be CT3 the next time that comes around for you, so that should be pretty nice. Forest Moon, let's take a look. Veers Stark. Okay, we're not gonna worry about Forest Moon right now because once you have Riva, once you have Third Sister, she can do Forest Moon, so it's not that big of a deal. Night Sisters. So you're probably doing this with Tuskens then, so we'll leave that where it is. And let's see where those lover boys are now. Battle for Naboo. Okay, so still here. All right, let me check out your new raid stuff first and everything. 363 raids, 71. You're gonna probably want about 2 million damage in the next raid. Let's see, Bad Batch. So haven't done Bad Batch at all. Clone Troopers. Kind of working on them a little. Where's Oppo? There he is. So 6 stars, working on him a little bit. Working on that as your higher priority raid team. Honestly, when you get the clones to a usable fashion, they're gonna really probably be the only thing that you need for the raid to do what your guild needs you to do. But don't hold me to that until we have more information on the raid. Looking to do Leia next. Let's see where Leia is. Let's check out all of them first, actually. No. Okay. I could see Leia as a viable option for you. Not dead set. Okay, so you say not dead set, but don't want to miss out on the second opportunity to unlock badass motherfucker for the raid. I say this a lot. I'm going to say it to you. I think I've said this in every review I've done today. Be careful with over prioritizing the raid unless you want to move guilds. Your clones alone and getting those guys to like even just R7, that's going to give you the score you need for your guild, right? And then running like a Bad Batch at low tier and Jedi at low tier and Pirates at low tier, that's going to put you where you need your guild needs you. You do not have to go crazy with prioritizing Mace Windu. Now, you might want him, and that's completely fine, but you don't have to spend significant resources because your guild is not going to be doing the same thing. You're in a pretty good position, especially with already working on the clones. They're going to start becoming farmable relatively soon. The era battles are still there. You're getting shards, you're getting things. So don't go too crazy. Right now, I would absolutely, I'm going to tell you with where you are in the game, R7, Duel of the Fates, should be a priority. R9, Duel of the Fates, should be a luxury. So if you want to go the luxury route, do it. You won't regret it. But R7 should be your mandatory right now. Do it, get it done. While you're working on, waiting on the clones and everything. Leia is not a bad option for you. If you are going to go for Leia, I would also strongly consider doing Profundity. Again, you're just in this position where you have half of those characters, the 4 characters, JML, Jabba, Leia, and Profundity. They all have a lot of overlap. So if you're going to get 3 out of the floor, or you might as well get Profundity as well. Bring it just to 5 stars. And then because you don't need it right now for your fleets, just get your free refreshes every week, every month. I have a really strong feeling that we're going to see Luthen's ship in the near future, I don't like to give advice based on that. I think that the advice of doing profundity is good advice no matter what. Because in order to, I just think nobody should ever sleep on their ships, even though we all hate doing ships and we all hate playing fleets. It's just a really, really strong part of the game. So I would definitely bring your Duel of the Fates at least to R7, R9 if you really love me. Working on your clones as like your background secondary project right now is to become farmable, because we still have 1 more week of it twice a week, and then 4 weeks of it once a week to get a lot of free shards from it. Leia is a really great next option. Profundity should be your viable option, happening kind of in tandem with that. You can pause once you have Third Sister to gear her up. And Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, slot in Cal Kestis whenever your guild gives you a timeline. You know, work on it in the background, that's fine. But like, if they say, hey, let's get this done in 4 months, then just take a quick detour towards it. You're in a Chirotech crunch. You're going to be in a Chirotech crunch for a very long time. Zepho does make that a lot easier for players. And you'll notice it pretty much immediately, because you're basically getting an extra 70 Chirotech per month on top of the extra get 2, I think it is. So I think you're on the right track. Just, again, I would not prioritize Jedi Master Mace Windu. When you kind of said you were going to prioritize him, I expected higher clones in Bad Batch, and I thought maybe you would put a lot of money towards it. But it doesn't look like you have. You're not going to need him for the second run. You could try to get him for the second run. I just don't think it's important for you. I think it's almost a mistake for your guild. Whereas you can quickly get the clones, have some fodder teams, and use this raid cycle to also build out your account further, while still, you know, maintaining or jumping by like 1 or 2 boxes within the raid. So that's where I would go. I wouldn't go too crazy, but yeah, fleets. Man, fleets are something, once you're done with them and you've finished them all and you don't have to worry about it anymore, it's so nice, and it does take a while, but it's, I think, just that important to an account to be able to do it in a timely fashion and not have to spend crystals constantly on those things. With all that said, guys, we are getting to the point where I do have to go. I know, Hod, you're very sad because you were next up. Guys, and what point shipments for shards become for cost effective over a hard node refresh? Pilkis, that depends. Oh my god. For hard node farms that are not accelerated, you can actually do 4 refreshes and it'll still be more efficient. But that's only if you're not counting the cost of the energy. And I don't count the cost of the energy because I'm doing the energy refreshes anyway. I generally don't think it's ever worth doing more than 2 refreshes on a character, unless it's something you need ASAP, and it's very rare that you need something ASAP. With that said, we're going to raid into the Lost Womprat. I'm going to see Lilo and Stitch, and then hang out with Moonborn later. Tomorrow, I will be doing my GAC in the morning, because it is Memorial Day, which means I will almost definitely do more reviews tomorrow morning, depending on how long the GAC takes. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the morning. And we will, you know, well, treat the Lost Womprat nicely. Go say hi to him if you're on Twitch. We're gonna raid out and go from there. Have a great rest of your day.